In a world where power hides in the shadows, the truth is the most dangerous weapon of all. This is true crime. For decades behind the headlines and battlefields of the Middle East, secret wars have been waged, not on maps, but in shadows. In 1953, the United States and Britain carried out a secret operation that changed the Middle East forever. The CIA helped overthrow Iran's democratically elected leader, Mohammad Mossadegh. The operation was called 1953 Iranian coup d'etat. The reason? Oil, power, control. Iran never forgot. This moment planted a seed of anger that would grow for decades. In 1979, Iran exploded in revolution. The Shah, backed by America, was overthrown. Ayatollah Khomeini took power, transforming Iran into an Islamic republic. From that moment, Iran declared the United States and Israel its enemies, and a shadow war began. Israel viewed Iran's nuclear program as an existential threat. Iran accused Israel of assassinating its nuclear scientists. Between 2010 and 2012, several Iranian scientists were killed in mysterious bombings. No country officially admitted responsibility, but intelligence experts point toward Mossad. This wasn't conventional war. This was assassination, sabotage, and psychological warfare. In 2010, a computer virus shocked the world. It was called Stuxnet. It secretly attacked Iranian nuclear facilities, destroying centrifuges from the inside. Investigations later linked it to a joint operation between the United States and Israel, known as Operation Olympic Games. This was the first time cyber warfare caused physical destruction. No missiles, no soldiers, just code. The battlefield had gone digital. Iran funds and arms groups like Hezbollah. Israel carries out airstrikes in Syria, targeting Iranian weapons shipments. The US supports Israel. Iran supports Israel's enemies. The Middle East becomes a chessboard, and civilians pay the price. In 2020, the United States assassinated Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike. Iran responded with missile attacks on US bases in Iraq. The world held its breath. For a moment, it felt like World War III was seconds away. Cyberattacks, assassinations, drone strikes, sanctions, proxy militias. There are no official declarations of war, but the conflict never stops. Experts call it a shadow war, a war fought in silence, a war fought in secrets. The conflict between Israel, Iran, America, and the Middle East is not a simple story of good versus evil. It is a story of revenge, fear, power, and survival. The question is not whether the war exists. The question is, when will it explode into something the world cannot control? Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was confirmed killed in the first wave of attacks, a death that instantly electrified the conflict and shattered decades of nuclear stalemate. Iran responded immediately and forcefully by launching hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones toward Israel, hitting major cities and killing civilians. US military bases in Gulf Arab states, Arab capitals hosting American assets in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and beyond. Casualties include Israeli civilians, American service members, and workers in Gulf states caught in the crossfire. Iran's allies, especially Hezbollah, also entered the battlefield, firing rockets from Lebanon into northern Israel. This forced Israeli forces to strike back in Beirut and southern Lebanon, widening the conflict dramatically. The United States is deeply involved. Coordinated military strikes with Israel, providing intelligence and defense support, suffering its own casualties with U.S. soldiers killed during Iranian retaliation. Global leaders have called for restraint, while Britain weighs evacuating hundreds of thousands of civilians from the region amid fears of a wider war. The United Nations and many countries urgently warn that a broader Middle East war is possible, one that could draw in regional powers and halt global energy traffic, especially through the Strait of Hormuz, a vital oil choke point. Beyond heads of state and missile strikes, the current conflict has shattered everyday life. Schools closed across Israel as missile barrages force shelter lockdowns. Civilians in cities like Beit Shemesh have been killed and injured in the retaliatory strikes. Airspace closures are disrupting travel worldwide. This isn't just geopolitics, it's human tragedy. The 2026 surge is a historic turning point. The battle between Israel and Iran is no longer confined to secret cyberattacks or proxy wars. The United States has moved from support to direct combat involvement. The Middle East faces a wider regional conflagration involving multiple nations and armed groups. The global community is now asking, is this containment, deterrence, or a world war waiting to erupt? In a world of open battlefields, the most dangerous fights are the ones you never see. Since the 20th century, Iran, Israel, and the United States have been bound together by rivalry, betrayal, and covert war. In 2026, that shadow war exploded into open fire. This is shadow war. To understand today's conflict, we must start at the beginning. In 1953, the United States and Britain orchestrated a covert overthrow of Iran's democratically elected prime minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. This secret operation, known later as Operation Ajax, was about oil, power, and control, and it left a legacy of mistrust. What happened in 1953 set the stage for every Iranian regime that followed. It told Iran that the West could not be trusted. In 1979, a revolution toppled the Shah, a leader backed by the United States. The result was a new Islamic republic led by Ayatollah Khomeini. From that moment on, Iran declared the United States and Israel its enemies, and a shadow conflict began, one fought in spies, sabotage, and silence. Iranian leader broadcast, "We will not forget those who interfered in our nation." In the digital age, warfare shifted. In 2010, an unseen weapon crippled Iranian nuclear centrifuges, not with bombs, but with code. The Stuxnet virus was the first offensive cyber attack to cause physical destruction, reportedly crafted by the United States and Israel. Between 2010 and 2012, Iran's top nuclear scientists were killed in mysterious bombings. Intelligence analysts believe foreign intelligence agencies, including Israel's Mossad, were responsible operations hidden from public view, denied by governments. These were not battlefield losses. These were targeted eliminations, a silent form of warfare. Iran and Israel have never fought directly, but they fought through proxies. From Syria to Lebanon, Iran's support for groups like Hezbollah has fueled regional conflict, prompting repeated Israeli airstrikes. This isn't just two enemies. It's a network of alliances and militias that pull countries into battle. In early 2026, the simmering conflict erupted into levels not seen in years. In February, Israel and the United States launched coordinated air and missile strikes deep inside Iran. Iranian leaders, including Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, were reported killed, igniting a barrage of retaliation. Iran responded instantly. Hundreds of missiles and drones struck Israeli cities and U.S. military installations across the Gulf. Civilians were killed, soldiers were lost, the region was on fire. This was no longer a proxy war, this was direct confrontation. The conflict didn't stay in one place. Gulf Arab states hosting U.S. forces were targeted, trade routes were disrupted, the price of oil soared, the world felt the impact instantaneously. A war here affects every economy. Shipping, fuel prices, global markets, they all change overnight. Families in shelters, hospitals, destroyed neighborhoods. But beyond geopolitics, there are the human stories. Children in bomb shelters, families mourning loved ones, cities once vibrant, now scared and battered. We thought the war was far away, but it came to our streets. World leaders, UN meetings, protesters. Every side blames the other. Israel insists its strikes were defensive, stopping Iran's ambitions. Iran calls it foreign aggression. The United States claims it's protecting allies. But in the ashes of war, fault becomes blurred. War doesn't have winners, only survivors. What began in the shadows has become a crisis with global consequences. A conflict born of history, secrecy, and fear, now alive in the open. This is the true cost of a shadow war.